Welcome to the Max class. Today we are going to learn chapter 5. The name of the chapter is Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. Dear students, watch a video which gives an introduction to geometry.
History of Geometry. Geometry is commonly used in our day-to-day life. From the stop signs we see on the road, the chapatis cooked in our homes, and the appliances that we use, to our houses, buildings, and parks that we see around us. All of these things use geometry. But was it known or used in ancient times too? Let's find out. The word geometry comes from two Greek words, geo, meaning the earth, and metrin, meaning to measure. Initially, the knowledge of geometry was used to measure land. Later, it started to be used in other areas like architecture and instrument design too. Around 2500 BCE, the Egyptian civilization used the knowledge of geometry to build the famous pyramids we see today. If you take a closer look at the structure of the pyramid, you will see that the base is a square and the sides are triangles. The well-planned cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro show that the Indus Valley civilization made extensive use of geometry between 2500 and 1700 BCE. For example, they built wide, straight and long roads which intersected each other at right angles for heavy carts to pass easily. Even the bricks that they used for constructing houses were made in the ratio of 4:2:1. Have you heard about the Sulba Sutras? In India during the Vedic age, the Sulba Sutras were compiled. These are manuals of geometric constructions used for building altars for different rituals. Ancient Indian scientists used geometry for measuring time, for conducting rituals and meditation, and for measuring angles and diameters. These civilizations passed on their knowledge of geometry from one generation to the other through oral conversations, manuscripts, and inscriptions. There are many famous scientists from the past who contributed significantly to the field of geometry. Some of them are Thales, Pythagoras, Archimedes, and Ptolemy. Around 300 BCE, the great mathematician Euclid compiled the work of many earlier scientists in his famous book Elements. It is based on the definitions, terms, and assumptions of various Greek mathematicians. His work ensured that all of us know and learn the different aspects of geometry. Studying geometry is exciting and fun. This year, let's enjoy the subject of geometry in detail.
Now let's see some of Euclid's definitions. Geometry is the practical field of mathematics. Mathematicians wanted to understand the world around them. To do this, they used geometry. Around 300 BCE, Euclid, he is a teacher of mathematics. He collected and arranged the works of different mathematicians in a book. The name of the book is Elements. The book Elements is divided into 13 volumes. How many volumes? 13 volumes. This mathematical collection is known as Euclidean geometry. Now let's see some definitions of Euclid. Euclid summarized 23 definitions in his first volume. Let's see 7 of them which is related to points, line and surfaces. First one is point. What is meant by point? A point is that which has no part. A point means which has no part. Second one is a line. What is meant by line? Is the line has breadth? No, the line has only length. A line is breadthless length. Okay. Then the ends of a line are points, isn't it? What about the part in between the end points? They are also points, isn't it? If you make some points continuously, you will get a straight line, isn't it? A straight line is a line which lies evenly with the points on itself. The third one is surface. A surface is that which has only length and breadth. See the right side? There you can see a diagram which is a surface. It has only length and breadth. Okay. The edges of the surfaces are lines. See that? How many edges are there? 4 edges. The 4 edges are 4 lines, isn't it? So the edges of a surface are lines. A plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with the straight lines on itself. If you keep the straight lines continuously, you will get a surface, isn't it? But these definitions faced the challenge of the never-ending cycle of defining terms. Let's understand this using an example. Now, the question is, define a well. You all know about well, isn't it? The question is, define a well. What is meant by well? A well is a hole in the ground, isn't it? It is often made to obtain water or oil or gas, isn't it? Now, let us further break down the meaning of a well. As I said, a well is a hole in the ground, isn't it? What is meant by hole? Hole means an aperture passing through something. What is meant by aperture? It is an opening. What is meant by opening? Opening means hole, isn't it? Again, it's come to an aperture. That means the meaning itself goes like a never-ending cycle. To define the word well, we need to define many other words. This can go on as a never-ending cycle. Okay. Euclid faced similar problems while trying to define mathematical sames like never-ending cycle. Here, another example. Euclid is trying to define another term, that is point. What is meant by point? A point has no parts. What is meant by part? Part means a surface, isn't it? Already we studied. What is meant by surface? Surface means the surface is that which lies with the lines on itself. Again, what is meant by lines? Lines are that which lies with the points on itself. That means if you continuously make more points together, you can get a line. So, a line is that which lies with the points on itself. So, again this comes to the point, isn't it? So, here it forms a never-ending cycle. Due to this never-ending cycle problem, the terms line, points and surfaces are considered as undefined terms. We can represent them visually. Okay. See, the first one is point, a dot, isn't it? Next one line, then third one is surface. Now let us see how Euclid defines a solid object using these terms. This is a solid, okay, solid object. It has shape, size and position. Okay, it has a particular shape and a size and it has a position also, and it can be moved from one place to another one, isn't it? So, every solid has 3 dimensions: length, breadth and height. So, what are the 3 dimensions of a solid? Length, breadth and height. Now, see the figure. Now, from the solid, one face is taken, isn't it? The side, okay. Here, this is called surface. This has only 2 dimensions, length and breadth, okay. There is no height. Now, see the boundaries of the surface These are straight lines, isn't it? The boundary of a surface given here is 4 straight lines. Sometimes it may be curved. It depends upon the size of the object. Now see the lines. How many dimensions it has? It has only one dimension. It is length. There is no height and width. Finally, these 4 lines ends in points. Okay, so the point doesn't have any of the dimensions. No length, no breadth, no height. It has no dimensions. So finally, it takes 3 steps from solids to points. First one is solid. It has 3 dimensions. Second one is surfaces. It has only 2 dimensions. Then lines, only 1 dimension. Then finally points. So it has no dimension. Finally, it takes 3 steps from solids to points. In each step, we reduced an extension, otherwise a part which is called a dimension, isn't it? Each step we reduced something, that is a dimension. The mathematician Euclid failed to define some words like surfaces, lines and points, but he used them to define other terms such as solid objects. For this undefined terms, surfaces, lines and points, he made some assumptions. Okay. The meaning of the term assumption is, it is a thing that is accepted as true. Euclid's assumptions were popular for over 2300 years. Many mathematicians even tried to challenge these assumptions but were unsuccessful. The Euclidean geometry influenced other fields of mathematics and reasoning. Non-Euclidean geometry, which explains the universe today, was also influenced by Euclidean geometry. Now let's see some problems. Exercise 5.1, question number 2. Give a definition for each of the following terms. Are there other terms that need to be defined first? What are they and how might you define them? First one is parallel lines. What is meant by parallel lines? Parallel lines are the lines in a plane that do not intersect or touch each other at any point. Okay, like a railway track, it never intersect each other. Okay, so lines in a plane that do not intersect or touch each other at any point. Then line in a plane that are always equidistant. The distance between the two lines will be same, so that only it will not intersect each other. To understand this concept, we have to know about plane. Okay, what is meant by plane? Plane is a surface that lie evenly with the straight lines on itself. Already we have studied in the beginning of this class, isn't it? If you keep the lines together, you will get a plane. Second one, perpendicular lines. What is meant by perpendicular lines? If two lines intersecting each other at an angle of 90 degree is called perpendicular line. Okay, so to know this, we have to first learn what is meant by angle. What is meant by angle? Angle is a figure formed when two rays share a common end point. Here, the first figure is a ray. Assume that there is two rays. Then, the end point of both rays will be common. Then, what will form? In between these two rays, an angle will form. Third one is line segment. What is meant by line segment? It is a part of a line. What is meant by line? Line is formed by joining points that can be represented visually. If you keep more points together, then you will get a line. What is line segment? It is a part of a line. Fourth one is radius of a circle. What is meant by radius? The distance between the center of the circle and any point lying on the circle is called radius of the circle. To understand this definition, we need to know what is circle. Circle is a round plane figure whose boundary consists of points equidistant from a fixed point. This fixed point is called the center of the circle. The last one is a square. Square is a quadrilateral with all sides of equal length and angle of equal measure. To understand this square, we have to know what is quadrilateral. What is quadrilateral? It is a closed figure made up of 4 line segments. Now let's see few questions from your workbook. Page number 39. Take your workbook and listen this. Filling the blanks with appropriate answers. First one is, a surface has dash dimensions. A surface has how many dimensions? Only 2, length and breadth. There is no height. So a surface has only 2 dimensions. B question, a point has dash dimensions. We know that the point doesn't have length, breadth, height. So it has no dimension. A point has no dimensions. Next question, what is Euclidean geometry based on? So what is Euclidean geometry based on? The answer is, Euclidean geometry is based on the works of mathematicians of the time who observed geometrically designs like points, lines and surfaces around them. Okay, so this is the base of Euclidean geometry. Dear students, today's assignment is in your workbook, page number 39, question numbers 1.3 and 1.4. Do these problems in your notebook and share it in the assignment group.